So right after the video yesterday, man, about El Nino and La Nina, and which, by the way, if y'all have not seen that video, go check it out, man. It is a lot of great information, gems, a lot of jewels in that video, man. Great stuff in that video, right? It had me and Queen talking because I asked her, did she remember El Nino and different things like that happening? Was she familiar with the terms? And we got to talking about that yesterday, right? And after we got talking, it led into other things, just like anything else. And I got to talking about Antarctica and the ice and what could be under there. And here's the crazy part, bro. And this AI stuff it's pretty scary. You know how you be talking about things and then you go to pick up your phone or open your computer or something and you start seeing a bunch of stuff? That's how this video popped up right here. So I'm like, okay, is this a sign? Okay, I'm reacting to it. It is what it is, all right? So this video here is titled, Researchers Can't Believe Their Eyes, New Discovery Under the Antarctic Ice Shocks the Whole World. All right, so listen, if you're new, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, join the family, hit that like button for more content. Let's check this out.
Wrap up warm because it's going to be chilly today. Together with you, we want to venture into the freezing cold world of Antarctica and take a look at some unique discoveries that will leave us in awe, open-mouthed, and thought-provoking. What is the gigantic hole in the dense ice sheet all about? And what bizarre life forms have developed deep under the ice sheet? Stick around until the end to find out. Before we get started though, be sure to hit the like button and ring the notification bell for more videos. Colossal Hole. The year is 1970, when satellite images reveal a gigantic hole in the ice sheet of the Lazarus Sea. However, the colossal gap was to close again with the onset of daylight savings time, which is why the true background of this unexpected phenomenon remained unclear for decades. But as fate would have it, the massive ice sheet would break open again in 2017, and
bro, just look at that, right? Hold on.
The massive ice sheet would break.
Look at that right there. Like if that starts to, they've been talking to global warming. If that continues to melt down, imagine how much the water level is going to rise with all this big block of ice right here, this big glacier right here. Imagine how much the water is going to rise, man. That's scary, bro. Especially for us that live on the coast.
Break open again in 2017 and offer scientists a unique chance to solve the mystery. In order to analyze the oversized approximately 9,500 square kilometer void in detail, an international research team again used satellite images and special measurements. Analysis of the collected data now suggests that these temporary ice holes, called polynia, embody the result of Arctic storms. Accordingly, the elemental force of the hurricanes causes the ice masses to be pushed forward in a brutal manner. What still embodies a frightening natural spectacle for us even has some valuable advantage for the local fauna. After all, the exposed areas open up new hunting grounds. However, the holy ice sheet could also have fatal effects on the global climate. The huge holes...
Like, that don't even look real. Look at that. Look at that. And that boat... Ooh, all I can think about is they should have never showed me Titanic as a child. Maybe if I was exposed to it later on in life, I wouldn't be so traumatized by it. You know what I mean? I would be able to understand it. But the fact that they traumatized me at such a young age, I think I was in elementary school when I first saw the video about the Titanic, man. Anytime I see a boat amongst all this ice and stuff like that, man, like I want no parts of it. No.
The holy ice sheet could also have fatal effects on the global climate. The huge holes not only affect the ocean currents, but also the energy exchange between the sea and the atmosphere. Unfortunately, such events are likely to occur more frequently in the future. In detail, a warmer climate favors the development of hurricanes, which then push even more bare spots into the ice. Microplastics. A few months ago, the researchers announced the sad news. All 19 samples of fresh snow samples from Antarctica contained microplastics. On average, the researchers at New Zealand's University of Canterbury found 29 plastic particles in every liter of snow. Of the 13 types of plastic detected, PET was the most common, with a share of almost 80%. We typically find polyethylene terephthalate in bottles and clothing. But what are the plastic particles actually doing in the Antarctic snow? The most likely source is considered to be local scientific research stations. However, models show that the origin of the particles could also be up to 6,000 kilometers away. Accordingly, microplastics can be distributed practically all over the world by drifts and ocean currents. Extraterrestrial life. What goes by the silly scientific name ALH 84001 would cause quite a stir in the ranks of scientists in the 90s. Found in December 1984 in the Allen Hills in Antarctica, the nearly 2-kilo object was identified as a Martian meteorite 9 years later. Then in 1996, researchers discovered some mysterious structures on the galactic floor, which they interpreted as signatures of fossil microorganisms. The small size of the traces means they must be attributed to nanobacteria. In addition, the carbonate inclusions contain some magnetic modifications that are typically produced by bacteria on our planet. However, it is also possible that the mineral is produced by non-biological processes. Those who believe that the Martian meteorite actually harbors traces of extraterrestrial life also see this as an indication of the correctness of the Panspermia theory. According to this hypothesis, life on Earth did not first develop on our blue home planet, but was brought to Earth over great distances. 60 million fish nests. Almost exactly a year ago, scientists from Bremerhaven made an overwhelming discovery in the south of the Antarctic Weddell Sea. In an area roughly the size of the island of Malta, the researchers came across 60 million icefish nests. Yes, you heard that right, 60 million. How it was even possible to overlook the 240 square kilometer breeding area in the past is a mystery to the experts themselves. The individual nests have a diameter of about 75 centimeters and are each about 15 centimeters deep.
Not even that, just thinking about fish having a nest. That you might have heard of that growing up, but where I'm from, we never heard about a fish having a nest. You think about birds, you know what I mean? That's what I never heard that. So hearing that alone already is just mind-blowing to me.
Have a diameter of about 75 centimeters and are each about 15 centimeters deep. This fascinating discovery, which embodies an ecosystem of unparalleled importance to the Weddell Sea, reminds us once again of the importance of establishing official marine protected areas in Antarctica. Accordingly, the hatchery not only represents an important fish nursery, but probably also serves as a sought-after food reservoir for the Weddell seal. The wreck of the Endurance. Together with Aurora, the Endurance set sail on August 8, 1914, as part of the British Transantarctic Expedition to gather new insights into the icy sea and land masses at the other end of the world. However, the mission led by popular explorer Ernest Shackleton was to end in an absolute catastrophe. Before the crew could set foot on the Antarctic mainland, the Endurance was trapped by the dense ice pack of the Weddell Sea. To quote, like an almond caught in a piece of chocolate, the 44-meter-long three-master managed to withstand the oppressive masses of ice for 281 days. It wasn't until November 21, 1915, that the Endurance was crushed by the surrounding ice. Fortunately, the crew was no longer on board at this point. The men had managed to flee onto the ice floe and reached Elephant Island with their lifeboats. For more than 100 years, there was no trace of the wreck of the Endurance, a fact that has finally been a thing of the past since March 5, 2022. According to this, the ship was found standing upright and in amazing good condition at a depth of a good 3,000 meters. Incredible discovery. Deeply shocked, overwhelmed, incredulous, the words with which the researchers describe the emotional state of their groundbreaking discovery show the importance of the unique find. But what happened? The experts drilled around 900 meters through the thick Filchneron ice shelf. The camera, which was then lowered, was supposed to capture something that none of the experts had ever expected. Some bizarre-looking creatures had spread out on a rock. The special thing about these creatures, which almost reminded you of aliens with their thin stems and round heads, is the fact that they shouldn't actually exist. According to our current state of knowledge, the existence of sedentary marine life under such harsh conditions was considered impossible. In fact, we still don't know exactly how life forms, which are believed to be sponges, manage to survive in perpetual darkness, bitterly cold environments, and far from stable food sources. In this regard, the researchers believe that the sponges feed on washed-up dead plankton. Whether and when the questions about the exact way of life, age, and species will be answered.
That's why I always say, man, life will find a way, bro. Even in the just bone chilling cold, bro. That is worse than bone chilling. That's being modest. But even in that type of environment, bro, life still finds a way. That's the most fascinating thing. I think one of the most fascinating things I've ever heard, that life will always find a way.
And the questions about the exact way of life, age, and species will be answered remains to be seen in the future. Subglacial sea. So far, scientists haven't been able to track down over 370 subglacial lakes in Antarctica. However, this is probably the only tiny tip of the iceberg. At the moment, no one can foresee how many hidden bodies of water really lie dormant under the Antarctic ice sheet. What is certain, however, is that the ranks of the frosty water worlds have recently been expanded to include a representative. With the help of radar measurements, the experts in the east of Antarctica tracked down a previously unknown subglacial lake that is 15 kilometers wide and almost 50 kilometers long. But how is it even possible that the water does not freeze despite temperature of -3 degrees Celsius, but always remains liquid? Well, this is due to several circumstances. On one hand, the surrounding ice sheet acts as kind of an insulator, shielding the lake from the freezing cold surface temperatures. In addition, the high pressure that prevails at depth causes the freezing point of the water to drop by several degrees. Vostok Sea. Speaking of which, if we weren't talking about subglacial lakes in Antarctica, then of course Lake Vostok shouldn't go unmentioned. Located at a depth of 3,700 to 4,100 meters, the gigantic body of water is 250 kilometers long and has a maximum depth of 1,200 meters. Just like the discovery of sponge creatures, Lake Vostok, confirmed in 1996, reminds us of one thing: life can flourish even in the most extreme places. Accordingly, DNA and RNA analysis revealed the amazing diversity of species in the lake. The genetic material of thousands of different organisms, most of which are bacteria, but also fungi, could be detected in the ice samples examined. Particularly exciting, the discovery of parasite DNA suggests that the hidden underwater world is also home to higher life forms, such as sea anemones, crabs, and even fish. Earthquake series. When we think of natural shaking, images of the Pacific Ring of Fire probably spring to mind. However, experts recently registered a series of earthquakes in Antarctica. From August 2020 to February 2021, the icy landscape began to tremble 85,000 times. In this regard, scientists believe that the so-called swarm earthquakes were related to volcanic activity.
And now when I think about earthquakes, I'm like, okay, what is the earth trying to tell us? I think we get so caught up in the disaster and the after effects of what it leaves behind after it does its damage and destruction, that we don't think about what the earth is trying to tell us. Like multiple tremors all at one time, simultaneously going on and stuff. The earth is saying something. We have to step back and go, okay, let's handle this, and then think about what's happening to our planet right now. We need to really start doing that. And I know I say we, I mean other people besides the ones that's their field of study. You know what I'm saying? More eyes, more people researching and understanding could help out a lot.
Ancient DNA. DNA from ancient microorganisms has been discovered beneath the sea floor in Antarctica, some dating back around 1 million years. Never before has such an old genome been found in the sediments of seabed. This so-called sedimentary ancient DNA or cetidNA for short, was exceptionally well preserved as a result of the low temperatures, low oxygen concentration, and the lack of UV radiation. It has not yet been precisely clarified which life forms the genetic Methuselisms originated from. However, what is certain is that we are dealing with eukaryotic DNA, which means that it comes from an animal, plant, or fungus. The majority of the slightly younger samples, however, belong to diatoms, a type of phytoplankton that can still be found in the world's oceans today. Evidence of a parallel world.
Say what?
From the secluded depths back to the icy surface, NASA has been conducting the so-called ANITA experiment in Antarctica for several years. The project serves to study cosmic neutrinos. These are electrical neutral elementary particles with a very low mass.
Did y'all know this was going on? Because I didn't know this was going on. You know what I mean? So just imagine if that's going on, what else are they working on they haven't told us about? Exactly.
These are electrical neutral elementary particles with a very low mass. The researchers are looking in detail at radio pulses that are generated by the interaction between the neutrinos and the Antarctic ice sheet. This is accomplished by modern radio antennas placed on balloons that hover around 37 kilometers above the surface. In the course of their experiments, the researchers finally came across a phenomenon that they simply cannot explain. What was initially dismissed as a simple background noise turned out to be a sensational discovery on closer inspection. Normally, the neutrinos coming from space fall like cosmic showers on the Earth's surface. However, the elementary particles identified in Antarctica exhibit an inverted pattern of movement. They appear to be rising out of the ground. In fact, these unexpected properties cannot be reconciled with any model of physics known to us. Because of this astonishing fact, some experts put forth an almost unbelievable thesis. The particles may have their origin in a parallel universe, in which everything works in reverse. This means up is down, left is right, and time would also run backwards from our point of view. Another explanation is based on the assumption that the neutrinos changed into other particles during their journey, which changed their direction. However, the probability of such a scenario is almost zero. The inexplicable discovery may be due to an incorrect measurement of the complex instruments. However, such a neutrino was not only observed once, but several times, and over a longer period of time. Fossil forests. More than 260 million years ago, the frosty Antarctica looked like a flourishing green forest landscape. At least that's what the ancient fossils that researchers discovered in the perpetual ice a few years ago suggest. In the past, the entire continent was significantly warmer and wetter than it is today. Thus, today's icy landscape once hosted a dense network of some hardy plant species, resembling those we find in Siberia today. At that time, in the so-called Permian, Antarctica was still part of the Gondwana supercontinent. This huge landmass also included what is now South America, Africa, Australia, Indian, and the Arabian Peninsula. The conditions with which the creatures of the time were confronted can confidently be described as extreme. An ice-capped south, eternal winters alternated with never-ending summers, while the north groaned under a sweltering heat. Although the primeval animals managed to defy these adverse conditions, a mass extinction of unprecedented proportions occurred about 252 million years ago. 70% of land animals and 90% of sea creatures fell victim to this drastic development. The great mass extinction in Earth's history is believed to have originated in a volcanic eruption in what is now Siberia, and paved the way for the era of dinosaurs. The forest fossils discovered in the Antarctica, therefore, give the researchers an authentic insight into days-long past. The remains of microorganisms and fungi were also preserved in the petrified wood. Studying these ancient relics should help us clear up some unanswered questions. How did the plants manage to withstand the extreme conditions back then? After all, the corresponding regions were close to their current latitudes. And why did some plants fall victim to the mass extinction and others not? We can't wait to see what exciting insights the researchers will gather in this regard. Do you know of any other amazing finds from Antarctica? And would you step into the eternal ice yourself if you had a chance? We are already looking forward to your comments. Please give us a thumbs up and
No. I don't do the cold very well. You know what I mean? That's why I'm down here in Georgia. But nah, I need to be the person that's off somewhere in a remote location, in a warm remote location, and I'll do that research in that from there. You know what I'm saying? But nah, I ain't good out in the cold, man. But salute to all those scientists and ones that have gone out there and done this research, man. And that is like a baffling, mind-blowing question. Why would some trees, you know what I mean, survive and other ones not? What? And they're like, I'm guessing all in the same vicinity. That's interesting. Maybe that one caught some minute bit of sunlight, but still extremely cold there. So I don't know. Not really a tree specialist here. That's not really my thing. But good question though, man. I'm telling y'all, bro. Like Antarctica, it's going good and bad things are gonna come from it. Now I don't always want to speak on just the good and highlight that. You know, certain things are gonna be released from that ice that we're gonna wish stayed frozen. But man, the history, all the other stuff that's gonna come from it, man, it's gonna tell us so much about our planet. I'm telling you, bro. Y'all listen, man. Y'all get at me in the comment section and let me know what you thought of this video. Extremely, extremely valuable information in this joint. Y'all let me know what you think. All right, and stick around and stay tuned. Till next one, I'm gone. Peace.